Great. Thank you very much. Let me give my introduction. My name is Abdullah Khan, and I am a master's student at Memorial University of Newfoundland. And I'm working on photocatalytic conversion of CO2 to methanol. And
Okay.
I was selected for the Ocean Idea Challenge, where I pitched the idea of using the methanol during this process, using it as a feedstock for companies, or using it feedstock for cars, or as a fuel, and also for marine and the shipping industry in order to decarbonize it.
Yes, methanol.
Yeah. I would like to share the presentation, maybe a short one, and then we'll move further a bit. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, let's see. There it is.
Yeah.
Presentation is visible.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So coming on to the point. So as we know that the maritime shipping is facing the decarbonization challenge in order to, it's been pressurized in order to decarbonize it to reduce the CO2 emissions. And there are various other technologies too, but they are so energy intensive, and also they have, such as the direct air capture. So there is like low atmospheric concentration in the atmosphere, and the current infrastructure is quite expensive. So here we have the method for the photocatalytic conversion. So in a photocatalytic conversion, as we have the photocatalytic reactor, and so it's basically consists of a photocatalyst which is designed in the lab. So it's an heterojunction material where it can absorb the visible light, and then the conversion takes place from CO2 to methanol. So there is splitting of the water here, and this hydrogen, it takes part in the conversion to the methanol. So this is the part I'm focusing on. This is the other part which I thought of, which is to do electrolysis, and in order to have more and more hydrogen produced, so that more of the product are converted into methanol. And then we can use the methanol which is released from this process as the product, and it could be used for fuel. It can be used for fuel, and as we know that this fuel, it comes back from it gets converted back into CO2 using CO2 after combustion. And that actually supports the circular economy of carbon. And this is the photocatalytic mechanism. So we have the first material and the second material, and there is a transfer of the electrons. And where the conversion takes place, we also use triethylamine in order to dissolve more of CO2 in the water. But we are in this Ocean Idea Challenge, we target that we use the dissolved CO2 which is in the seawater. And then we have the product which is the green methanol, and also we would get an amount of green hydrogen. So those are the byproducts in this process, and this both are the target products, and various advantages which would lead to the reduction of carbon. And as we know that the global methanol market is booming, and also there is a company Myers, they ordered methanol fired vessels. So as we know that the current shipping is through current vessels actually are LNG fired, or they are ammonia fired. We could replace them with the methanol fired, just like Mars company did in Denmark, and that would help in decarbonizing the industry. And this is the map, but we are not on this, and it's the market positioning for methanol. And so that's all from my side. And
Okay, go back to the first slide. Let's see.
yeah, sure. This one.
Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah, this one here. Now it showed up.
Yeah.
So seawater electrolysis is obviously challenging.
Right.
So I'm not sure how you're managing the chloride evolution reaction. But really, the input to the methanol synthesis is just hydrogen gas, and it can
Right.
come from any electrolysis process of any water source.
Right.
So to really tie this into the ocean, you really need to specify, in my view, how you're avoiding the chloride reduction or chloride uh, production, which is typical
Yeah.
in seawater electrolysis.
Right.
Otherwise, it has nothing to do with seawater. It's just water.
Yeah. That's one of the challenge I when we move on from DI water to seawater. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and there's some studies. Somebody I've read in the last year is working on direct seawater electrolysis to avoid the the problem of chlorine production, and they're doing well. They're just preventing the chlorine ions from reaching the electrode.
Yeah.
Now I don't know anything about your photocatalyst, so yeah, good luck with it.
Mm, yeah, the photocatalytic I have tried in the lab, and it actually gives a good yield of 1,000. It gives a good yield, but those yield are actually only on the lab scale level.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work evaluating photoactivity.
Right.
And I'm generally not a fan because light is a two-dimensional solution space.
Right.
And so
Hmm.
when you build these reactors, so I've studied, like, let's say microbial reactors, and you got to shine light at a tank with living organisms.
Hmm.
And the photons are a wave front that's two-dimensional, such that if you hit something, you don't hit something behind it.
Yeah.
So um, I personally stay away from photo reactors, but as a project, I think this is excellent because maybe you'll find some other way to deliver energy.
Yeah. So we actually use the X-ray detector, sorry, the UV light, and then we convert it into visible light and use it. Yeah, the challenge would be like to focusing the photons onto the photocatalyst.
Right. What is the
Yeah.
reaction time of your photocatalyst?
Yeah, it's taking around 8 hours to give this yield.
Well, I'm talking about a specific um, reactive site. The photon's going to hit something and activate it.
Right.
How long does it take for it to receive a second photon? Because if it's too soon, then the second photon and the third photon just get turned into heat.
Yeah.
So I've had this problem with photosynthesis because I think a receptor has a reaction time of like 6 milliseconds, and so you could pound you could deliver a lot of photons to a photosynthesis receptor, the chlorophyll, and nothing happens because it's still processing the reaction from the first photon.
Yeah.
So that's something to be mindful, is the productivity of your receptors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So just wanted to know, like, if something, if this process comes into the market, are the industries or the companies are ready to purchase the methanol and use methanol as the fuel? So is the marine industry actually, or the marine industry actually ready to utilize something as methanol as as an alternative fuel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any direct knowledge on that, but I personally prefer something like methanol as opposed to the current leader, hydrogen or ammonia. I don't care for either of those as fuel carriers. I think methanol's got a better profile than the other two molecules I mentioned.
Yeah. That's a good view. And how about like sometimes the challenge would be, as I have conducted the previous interviews, I found that the challenge for them would be the cost, and it would also be it would also be integrating with the current infrastructure. So, according to you, if we consider that the cost was not a barrier, what other challenges would green methanol face in order to make it commercially viable for?
Yeah, I don't have any strong opinion about methanol, but I am a fan of carbon fuels, renewable circular carbon fuels. So I support methanol over ammonia, over hydrogen for that reason alone. I like carbon fuels.
Mm, it's a good one. So, how are you actually, in your role, how are you helping in decarbonizing the industry? So, could you
My
explain briefly
focus
what you're saying?
is to solve the direct air capture problem.
Mm,
So you mentioned in one of your slides that direct air capture is
the low
energy intensive.
concentration. Yeah.
Um, my work has been to find the conceptual pathways leading to dramatically improved energy efficiency. So right
Mm,
now, the the leader, if you will, of direct air capture in terms of funding is called carbon engineering.
yeah.
And their process uses about 8 gigajoules per ton,
Yeah.
which is about, I think, 7% second law efficiency, which is poor. And
Mm,
my work tries to get that cost, that energy cost of direct air capture with an efficiency closer to 40%.
oh, that's interesting. So, your major role is to actually help. So, you work on capturing CO2 and also on the conversion part, or only on the capture part?
My work, my passion is the circular carbon part.
Right.
But the front end of circular carbon is very energy efficient capture.
Right.
So I've spent since 2020 focusing on that problem. I have a lot of experience studying the enzymatic synthesis
Oh,
of I want to say hydrocarbons, but I also include the C1 molecules like formate and methanol.
yeah.
I
Mm,
avoid methane because it's a rather unpopular and very uh, well. There's a lot of methane here around the world to harness,
right. And
but because
also,
it's a greenhouse gas, it's problematic to add more.
yeah, and also when I studied some papers, so even in the photocatalytic process, the formate is actually a intermediate product in the formation of methanol.
Yeah, there are some people who just stop at formate.
Right.
My goal, my ideal molecule is acetate, which is C2.
Okay. Yeah.
So I study a little bit of methanol and formate synthesis,
Yeah.
and I'll certainly like to follow your work to see what ideas I can build upon. But then again, I don't like light energy for delivery.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So,
So I do like the electrode process
right.
of reducing CO2 in the presence of hydrogen, and I'm looking to get back into that in a more aggressive way.
So, your advice would be to shift back to the electrolysis process and work on it.
Well,
Not.
do your own analysis
Yeah.
of energy delivery. I model everything. I'm an engineer. You're a
Yeah.
scientist. I'm an engineer. So
Mm,
I model efficiency.
yeah.
So if you deliver, a kilowatt of energy or a gigajoule of energy, some metric of energy,
Yeah.
um, it goes to your power supply, it gets converted to light. All those have losses. And then you have to transmit the light into your reactor. And then you got the problem I described in terms of a lot of that photon energy gets turned into heat because of
Mm,
interference, a variety of interference.
Oh,
So again, I think in terms of an aqueous solution of cyanobacteria in bioreactors,
right.
and you may activate a chlorophyll molecule in uh, one side of one bacteria, but then it's casting a shadow on the bacteria behind it. And so a lot of light energy gets turned into heat in my analysis. So you need to look at your energy flow and figure out what your energy transfer. The phrase I use is how much energy did your energy cost?
Yeah,
So you're going to produce a kilogram or a mole, let's just say a mole of methanol.
right.
How many gigajoules went into that process?
Okay.
And there's got to be an efficiency there. And I did my light analysis back in 2020, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
But everywhere I've looked on light delivery, I came up with depressed. So I was a big fan of
Yeah.
light energy, and I've steered away from it. So I would do an estimate of your anticipated efficiency, because I bet you'll struggle to get it anywhere near 25%, and I think it's going to be a lot less, because then
Yeah.
you got to start looking at the efficiency of your hydrogen source. And I don't know what you're doing from CO2, or you're bringing in pure CO2 from a capture source, which I think
Currently
most
I'm
people do because you
using,
need a pretty high concentration.
yeah, currently I'm just using pure CO2 and
Right,
trying.
but you're not trying to harvest it from the air.
No,
Yeah, so you have to make a casual estimate of
right,
how much energy you use to get a mole of methanol, and the
right.
methanol will have a caloric content. It'll have an innate amount of energy in it, and that's
Mm,
what you're delivering to the market.
right. So I need to conduct the energy analysis.
I would do that early.
Yeah, that's right.
As a science project, this is great. As a venture project, um, your timing's going to be challenged because there's a large um, public battle, if you will, that if
Yeah,
you take a gigajoule of electricity produced by solar panels,
yeah.
you should decarbonize coal use, decarbonize fossil fuel use um, before you start synthesizing fuels.
Right.
So there's an active debate out there that renewable energy in the current time frames, which probably going to be at least one decade, probably two,
Yeah, that's right.
should go to decarbonizing easy to decarbonize industries before you start doing the hard to decarbonize, because the energy losses are so high.
Yeah, yeah. How about facing backlash from the regulatory frameworks in order to using methanol as fuel for the vessels or for the marine or for even cars?
I I don't think methanol has any innate obstacles.
Yeah,
Okay, if you had a extremely efficient process
yeah.
for synthesizing methanol,
Mm,
methanol is better than what we're doing now, which is
yeah.
bunker fuels. And again, I think it's a better molecule to synthesize than hydrogen or ammonia. Your energy density characteristics of methanol, I think, are better than ammonia.
Yeah, that's right. And also the storage issue. We do not have any such storage issue with methanol and with hydrogen because hydrogen usually requires like containers or
Now, hydrogen is a
something.
disaster,
Yeah.
in my view, for a energy carrier.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
How about ammonia?
Ammonia is often compared as a better energy carrier than hydrogen, but
Yes.
its energy density is fairly low. It's like, well, it stores better, but you have to transfer a lot of mass to get that
Right.
energy around.
Right.
And I haven't studied methanol against ammonia, but I bet it's just a better molecule for energy storage and
Right.
transport.
So yeah, that's all. But so you have your own company which actually works on capturing CO2 through the through the bacterial process.
Okay, I'm old and retired, so I tried to do a startup, but my work is too speculative for anyone to support.
Yes.
But what I've done is I've studied the molecular biology of living organisms.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I've identified pathways of interest.
Hmm.
Okay, and so I take a little bit from the biology of crabs and a little bit from the biology of humans and a lot from the biology of organisms in the ocean like cyanobacteria and kelp.
Okay. Right.
I look at their pathways, I look at what they're doing, and then I
Hmm.
pull them apart and absorb only the pathways and the technology of interest.
Yeah.
So I am inspired by living organisms, but I don't use living organisms.
Um.
So right now I'm at the process where I model materials having properties that exist in the molecular biology domain.
Yeah.
And I build these carbon capture systems, machines,
Hmm.
using materials that don't exist but have properties that do exist.
Oh, that's
So I
interesting.
can't order the materials I need from Amazon yet,
Hmm. Yeah.
but I'm an engineer, so I can model it.
Right.
So I can model the performance and get that number that I just talked to you early, energy
Yeah.
in versus energy out.
Right.
So the CO my output is pure CO2, and that has a certain value. And I know how much energy I put into it, and so I can determine my second law efficiency.
Hmm.
And I'm getting numbers representing numbers close to 40% as a floor.
Yeah.
And so, but it's key for you to understand. I am doing conceptual work,
Yeah.
so I'm very knowledgeable about what needs to be done, but I can't build anything today. But I can, and now I'm working with AI,
Yeah.
and so I can model far more aggressively. And my
Hmm.
current work is to take uh, a primitive but functionally complete model, give it to AI, and then ask it a question, make it work better. And I've got a bunch of criteria on what better is.
Oh,
And then AI gives me feedback, and then I build a successor model.
right.
And I ask the question, make
Again.
it better.
Oh,
And better in terms of energy,
right.
also better in terms of materials I can gain access to.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bridge the gap between what is conceptual to what is practical.
Yes.
And so I use AI because we know it's intelligent or as a tool, but I'm interested in the training data as they approach 30 trillion parameters to find a connection that we haven't made yet. Here's a material that I need that doesn't exist. Find me something that does exist in use by some other industry. That's the pipe dream.
Yeah. That's a great one. I like it's quite interesting one. I
Let
would
me try to
be
see. I meant to do this beforehand. I forgot. Let me see if I can find a file for you.
yeah,
It's
just
my
to
roadmap
yeah, just to get more insights.
because I'm very interested in the circular carbon aspect of this.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I meant to do this earlier and I forgot.
Oh,
Uh, all right, I'm looking for a recent version. There it is. May not be my most perfect model, Okay, how can I get you this file?
Yeah.
Gotta figure out how to paste it here. Is it in chat?
Yeah, sure. You can give me in chat or you can send me on my email.
Okay, see if you can look at that.
Yeah, I can look at foundation of creating this circular carbon economy. Yeah.
So,
Mm.
if you get the cost of direct air capture of CO2 to be dramatically better than it currently is, then what can you do with that? And it's a feedstock for sequestration processes as well as circular carbon. So I'm a big fan of circular carbon all the way to jet fuel.
Mm.
But, like I said, I model things that can't be built. So this is kind of a roadmap for how I work on problems. And so, catalytic CO2 reduction is basically what you're doing. You see methanol is kind of on the list.
Yeah. This is a great roadmap. I actually appreciate it and even your work, because currently there are actually, so you go on to the end of the process, which is the geological CO2 sequestration. So here, the government, the province provided a funding to one of the organization or to a group of team partners to actually work on the even on the storage part. So they have a lot of storage area in Newfoundland and Labrador, so where they could actually potential of storing the CO2. So this roadmap is something just like the way the name says, visionary. Yeah, it's really a visionary one, and
Yeah, so it helps me stay focused on doing things that I enjoy, things that are important.
so you even work for like together with some university or just
I'm a hobbyist, so it's me and the AI at the moment. My work is too speculative
uh
for most. Like I say, I've been working on this project for 10+ years,
oh,
and you've got a career to manage, you've got papers to publish, you've got deadlines. And like I said, now I'm working with AI, so my work is accelerating. I have a critical mass of understanding of what to do. And I'm learning how to use AI and hopefully AI agents to do more work faster.
uh, that's wonderful. So have you ever thought on actually bringing it to market level or just keeping it up to
My
yourself?
materials don't exist yet.
Okay.
So I've tried to get funding to build a team to do this faster,
Yeah.
but everybody is about, what kind of revenue are you going to generate in 2 years? Well, none. So then, the conversation's over.
Okay. So I think the most suitable funding would be to get a like a research funding. So that would be the most suitable one. So if we go on companies without having a revenue plan, and of course they would reject it. But some university might, some such as we have the NRCan, the Natural the Research Council. So they provide me funding. So even for my project, the funding actually comes from NRCan, so which is the Research Council of which is in Canada. So I think those would be the best person to actually approach with your idea, because even if you say that you are developing a tool, you would get funding, or you would begin, you can actually begin from doing a small level funding and then moving on further. Like for example, for me at present, I'm doing the Ocean Idea Challenge. So I got a very small funding, but later on I come with an idea and then that goes on to other and other levels of other and other level of organizations. But your work is quite interesting. I like it, like the way and the approach, even though it is something which is not even the which is not even someone exist, or if, which is not even someone who might have even thought about it. That's something great.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
the longer term plan is to just publish my material for people to read.
I
So
I think I think you should keep it with yourselves for now, and later on when you
Well, and that's the trade-off. The
Yeah.
I'm having too much success with AI, so I'm still exploring.
Mm.
But I want to set carbon capture aside because I'm almost done with carbon capture,
Yeah.
which is the process in the lower left corner. That process is conceptually complete.
Yeah.
So I want to move into the enzymatic synthesis. I mentioned I want to
Mhm.
synthesize acetate.
Right.
So that's a C2, and that is a building block for uh, fatty acids.
Okay.
So you synthesize fatty acids,
Yeah.
which is C2, C4, C6, C8. They get added two at a time, and then you decarboxylate the molecule, and then you get alkanes.
Okay.
And alkanes are um, gasoline and
Oh.
jet precursor, a substantial part of jet fuel and a substantial part of diesel fuel, and you can synthesize propane from
Yeah.
a C4 fatty acid.
Oh, that's like more ahead thinking. Like we focus only on methanol, thinking it as a feedstock, but your focus is on actually producing back to fuel industry, but not but having the circular economy. So you use this current carbon and produce fuels back and then back and forth. Yes.
That's where I'm at. I have a phrase that I think in my head. Carbon is too important as an energy carrier to just vanish.
Mm.
Right now
Right.
we have a problem with fossil fuels, but I believe very strongly in circular carbon. And the best way to decarbonize aviation is by synthetic jet fuel.
Right.
But you've got to make sure that the energy cost of your energy, that phrase again, is as
Mhm.
low as possible.
Yes. Understood.
So you
That
got to
was
really be efficient on the the CO2 capture side, and then be very efficient on the acquisition of hydrogen. I've got some ideas about that. And
mm,
then very efficiency as you synthesize um, your more complex alkane molecules.
right.
And now with
Okay.
AI, I can do it all conceptually.
Yeah. The only issue is to change it from conceptually to practically and practically to commercially.
Well, at my age, all I can do is publish a roadmap
You're
and
right.
then hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah, understood. But it's a great vision. I think it was great chatting with you, and I think I'll stay connected with you. So what is the best way to reach you?
Well, I mean, you found me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I write a blog, if you will. I
Yeah.
publish essays.
Oh,
So if you haven't seen them,
yeah, I have not seen
let me
it.
try to get a link for you here
Yeah, sure.
on Substack. Look, let me get my. So this is just my writings as a engineering hobbyist.
So, did you send me on chat?
No, I'm getting it to the chat here.
All right. It still has not arrived.
So if you subscribe to this is just one essay. Somewhere there's
Oh,
a a dashboard to all my essays. I just
oh,
didn't grab that link yet.
how do that? Link. Yeah, it's open.
So this is where I'm trying to talk about thermodynamics and why all
Ooh.
existing CDR techniques are awful and why
Um,
we can do much better.
all right. So this is a term which I just saw, which is exergy, right?
Exergy, yes.
Yeah. So actually, this term actually, so my wife actually works on exergy analysis. So that's
Yep.
how I know the process. So she works on converting CO2 to urea, and she models it using Aspin. And then she uses various other tools in order to even have and she also did the exergy analysis of the process.
Sounds like a chemical engineer.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's a great one. She when she gets the paper, I make sure I'll share it with you. It might be interesting
Okay.
for you.
Well,
So
she's probably really smart, and I'm just an engineer working as a hobby. So
uh,
the exergy terms I use are correct,
yeah,
but I may not present it academically correct.
yes. I feel that that term is very difficult to work with, and so currently she's trying to integrate direct air capture with the process using Haspin, and then do the exergy analysis of that process.
I'm a big fan of exergy analysis, so I just do it. I do it differently. I don't use Aspen.
Okay.
I model molecules moving.
All right, so you work more on, I would say, a DFT or material
No,
stability software.
I, for instance, for your problem, I count the energy of photons engaging in productive reactions.
Yeah.
So I count energy at the molecular model because I know how to create photons, right?
Right.
So you know what the photons are doing, you know how much energy you use to create the photons, and then you know through some reasonable model the rate at which photons are converted into CO2. I mean into methanol
Right.
through your photocatalyst.
Yeah.
So your photocatalyst has some measurable productivity.
Yeah.
And so you can follow, electricity from a solar panel is 100% exergy.
Mm.
And then your methanol with its energy content is also exergy.
Oh.
It has a latent internal energy that can be used to generate work or heat.
Yeah.
And then you work on your ratios of energy out versus energy in. Work actual versus work theoretical.
Right. That's a
So
great
anyway,
one.
I do my work not with modeling using these macro tools. I model my own work at the molecular level. Very,
Oh.
very. I have a lot more control over the specifics of what's being done.
Yeah. Perfect. It was so insightful and great chatting with you, and also your comments and feedbacks. I really appreciate your time, taking your time for having this
Yeah,
chat.
it's
It's,
it's a team effort in a roundabout way.
yeah, and I make sure I get back to you with various other works and to understand about your project more again.
Yep.
And
So yeah, did you ever go? Let me see. Did you get my email?
yeah, I think I got your email when we booked the meeting. So yeah,
Yeah, there you go. So you got ways to contact me, and like I
yeah,
say, I'm always working on this to some extent.
yeah,
But right now it's me and AI, so I'm
yeah.
using multiple versions of
Likewise.
the more expensive versions of
Mm,
AI
yeah.
to advance my work. So I think my work is accelerating.
Yeah, that's great. And I think meeting ends in like 1 minute because of
Yeah.
the limit. So